We are in our 23rd week, which means we are in a different state, and today we are in Connecticut, and I will be spotlighting the disappearance of Maria Anjiras. Maria, 14, was last seen in Norwalk in February 12, 1976. She was supposed to attend a vocal lesson and babysit that evening, but she didn't show up for either. Maria was initially reported as a runaway because some of her belongings were unaccounted for. Still, investigators do not understand why she wouldn't reach out after all these years and believe there may be foul play in her case. Maria was a freshman at Norwalk High and was artistically talented. She was involved in theater, drama, and ballet lessons. A few weeks before her disappearance, neighbors told investigators that they did hear her arguing with her family and yelling that she was going to leave and never come back. Her father did tell investigators that they argued, but he had convinced her to stay. On February 12th of 1976, at some point in the day, Maria and her father had argued again. Maria left her home on her blue English racer bike in the early afternoon and would be spotted on her bike by her father around 2:15 p.m. before he headed to work. Maria was supposed to be going to a vocal lesson that afternoon and then to her babysitting job at 5 p.m. from there. Maria didn't show up for her vocal lessons or her babysitting job, which alarmed her family and friends. Her father reported her missing by 5:45 p.m. that evening. When investigators interviewed her parents, they discovered that some money, a pair of PJs, and several sweaters were missing from Maria's room, which indicated that she may have left on her own accord. Her blue bicycle was found abandoned about a mile from her house near her best friend's home. Investigators interviewed this best friend, who insisted that she didn't know where Maria was and that she hadn't seen her at all that day. Maria's parents told investigators there was nothing out of the norm in her behavior the day she vanished, and they found it odd that she hadn't contacted anyone that she knew. Initially, investigators categorized her case as a runaway, but as the days went on with no contact from Maria, investigators would label her missing and endangered and coordinate search efforts in the wooded area around her home. Local media would pick up Maria's case, and suddenly several sightings of Maria came pouring in. Investigators did note that many of them were from those who knew her, like classmates and even teachers. There were several sightings of Maria at a local restaurant called the Duchess on Main Street and a local music club, and she was also seen a few times in an orange and black car. However, investigators were never able to confirm any of these sightings. 6 months later, in August, a tip came in claiming that Maria was at the Charter Oak Motorcycle Club. But when investigators followed the lead, they discovered that the girl was a 17-year-old girl from Danbury and not Maria. Maria's case would grow cold over the years and lost public spotlight until 2001, when Norwalk established a cold case unit and made an official public plea in Maria's case, asking the public to come forward with any information they had in her case. They were clear that any charges were unlikely to be filed for anyone who helped her run away because of the time that had passed, and they were just seeking new leads, but nobody came forward. In 2001, investigators still questioned whether Maria left on her own or if something nefarious happened to Maria. In 2022, investigators told NBC News that they had collected DNA from Maria's brother and sister and had a copy for dental records and had added them to several national databases for comparison. There are a few Jane Does that she's been compared to, but they have yet to make a match. Investigators do believe it is possible that her friends, who were all teens at the time, may have more information about her disappearance, but were afraid to come forward at the time. And they are hoping, as adults, they would feel more comfortable coming forward. But that has yet to happen. Maria's parents were hopeful that Maria would walk back through the front door into their lives until their very last breath. Maria's mother told reporters in 1978 that she thought her daughter was working somewhere as a waitress, attempting to be an actress. Unfortunately, both of her parents passed away, never knowing what happened to Maria, but her brother and sister are still fighting for answers. When Maria was last seen, she was 14, described as a Caucasian female, 5'6", 120 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing white canvas pants, brown shoes, a peach sweater, and a green school jacket with her nickname Mia on it. Anyone with information in Maria's case is asked to call the Norwalk Cold Case Unit at 203-854-3000. Thank you so much for taking the time to get to know Maria today. And don't forget, when you see those missing and murder posts on social media, hit like and share, because every time we share a face, we do get closer to solving a case. And I will see you all back here tomorrow for another day in Connecticut.